Namaste. Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome. Just checking everything is in alignment here. Welcome to my Friday Tarot chat. And I can see that questions are already rolling in. Oh my goodness. I asked, and so the questions are here. And let me tell you a little bit what's going to happen today. I was inspired. I'm not sure when it was. A couple weeks ago, I was watching Will a Google Tarot, and oh my goodness. Anna, right? Anna, Astral Lady Tarot. They were chatting about YouTube, and I saw that one. And then I caught a video. I put their names all down below. Yes, I was watching Orsi, and she had mentioned Deanne's video. So I went and I checked out what was going on Deanne's channel. And I really like this idea of, yes, I will answer your questions, but I'm also going to shuffle a tarot deck and look to the tarot deck for deeper insight into the question. So I think this is a very interesting approach to this. Okay, and I'm going to work with lots of different decks today, so this will be kind of fun. And I can see lots of people are chatting here, getting ready for this. So welcome to all of you. I can see Sharon's question is first up in the queue, and I'm going to do my best to actually I will star that. And I just want to say hi to everybody. Yeah, I know that nothing is off limits. So welcome, Sharon. Donna and Dee and Joel, hello. Welcome to all of you. Saskia, greetings from wet and stormy Corfu. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you are safe. Yeah. Who else is here with us this afternoon? Donna. I'm just looking at the weather comment here. Oh, it doesn't have anything on Kentucky. Hello, Colleen. Welcome to you as well, too. Patricia T. Hello. Hello to Patricia T. Burning Dreamer 13. Virginia, right? Welcome to you as well too. Who did I miss in the initial chat? Anyway, I'll try to greet you as you come in. And so please feel free to prompt me with any of the questions that are in the chat below, as well as any burning questions that you have yourself. And I'm going to start today with Sharon's question, which is, what decks do you admire from a distance, but won't purchase and buy? Why? That's a really, really good question. There's one series of decks that comes to mind, and that is the Black Madonna series decks. These are beautiful decks that are created in, I'm thinking like a window box fashion, so they're like three-dimensional. And this creator has done a Mary deck as well too. I believe there's 3 different decks that she has created, and they are gorgeous. And the original art pieces are actually in a museum. And from these pieces of art, she has created these gorgeous, gorgeous decks. Really, really intrigued with them. I am so intrigued with the Black Madonna energy. Black Madonna energy. And I am thinking of a book. It might have been, I was going to say Sacred Bee. It's something to do with bees. And there is a Black Madonna from a boat. The mermaid at the front of the boat, and the women go up and they find peace and love and luck touching the Black Madonna. And I may have a couple of different stories mixed up here. And then also in working with a couple of clients this spring just really tapping into the energy of the Black Madonna. So very much interested in these decks. Sue Monk Kid, The Secret Life of Bees. Yes, I think that's the one, Saskia. However, it's just it's so much money. It is so much money for um, until I'm ready to make a commitment to working with the deck. I can't justify putting out that much money, and it kind of breaks my heart that it's the dollars that make it so very, very, um, inaccessible. And if you know the decks that I'm talking about, please feel free to put them into the chat. They are just gorgeous, gorgeous art pieces. But I'm gonna shuffle, this rather seemingly, I was gonna say energetically disconnected from the Black Madonna deck. This is Pagan Otherworld, and I'm gonna pull a card to see if I can learn more about why it is that I have not invested in these gorgeous pieces of art. Hmm, okay. Hmm, the Star. What comes to mind is that guidance comes from many, many directions. And the lake that is pictured here, I feel as if I have access to this information almost without the cards. Um, and maybe that seems very egotistical. I don't know. It feels like there's a way to tap into the message of these cards in a different through a different connection. I really sense I need to be at peace with this as well too, that this is at this time, this is the right decision for me. Let's go to Donna's comment down below. Yes, I'm aware that Kasha uses these decks. Um, yeah, and really, really extraordinary, pieces of art. I'm sorry, I can't think of the creator's name off the top of my head. And I did actually reach out to her because I was surprised how, it looked as if she was in Canada, but she's actually in South Africa. And so the international mail post rate, is coming at a fixed cost, so wherever you are in the world. Yeah. So maybe eventually, but that's not happening right now. Um, yes, Colleen, that is the name, Etienne Gabler. Yes, Etienne Gabler. Thank you for putting that up. All right, I'm going to scroll through the chat just to see if I can star any other questions, and then I might pop down to the 13 questions below. Okay. Um, okay, so you know the ones I'm talking about. All right, so Patricia is asking a personal question, and Patricia, I'm not doing readings today. I am answering questions about working as a tarot reader, about Tarot Tube, and if you look to the questions that are down below in this description box, that's what that's what I'm gonna be working with today. So thanks. I will be doing more live readings on Tuesday. Okay. Let's go to Colleen's comment here. I have been drawn to the Divine Muses Oracle. I am leaning towards ancestor work. Would the Stretch Tarot or the Ritual Tarot be a wiser? choice for me. Um, what I would do in this particular case, Colleen, I have not worked with the Ritual Tarot, though it's one that I have, I've actually ordered it. So what I would do is to put, um, you could put like little notes or just in your mind say, okay, on this side is the Ritual Tarot, and this side is the um, Stretch Tarot. And for ask the tarot this question yourself, and then lay a couple of cards for one and a couple of cards for the other. And you could ask something to the effect of, what is the energy of me doing ancestral work with the Ritual Tarot, and or this one? Like you just put down a couple of cards for each one and see which one feels better for you. So that's how I would approach that sort of a question. Yeah, so I can't really answer because I haven't worked with the other one. Okay. All right. So let's see what Joel's got here. How does your tarot journaling look like when you study a deck or a tarot system? It looks, Joel, it looks like a bit of a web. It looks like a bit of a web. So right now I am doing a deep dive with the Philarcos Tarot, and some of you have hopped into this conversation. And one of the things that I do is I try to collect all of the resources that I have. It was important that when I did the dive with the Wildwood Tarot that I had all the books and that I had everything at my fingertips. I watched a few interviews with John Matthews and Mark Ryan. Um, just to really kind of tap into the energy of that. I had a little bit of a look at the Greenwood Tarot. So I try to get as many resources as possible together. And so for Carmen's deck, I went back to the essay. I reached out to her about the essay and that experience. I went through the newer PDF as well as the little guidebook and went um, back into the energy of the trails because just a second here. I need to refocus the camera. It's not focused. Sorry. Hopefully it will correct in a moment. It's annoying when it's not focused. Um, I knew that I wanted to approach this deep dive through the trails, which are the key into the journey of the dreams with this particular deck. And so that's where I started with the deep dive. And then as I was reviewing the new document, different things started to come up. So when I am making notes in my journal, there's certain things that are coming through. So there's certain myths that are being revealed with each of the cards. And so I'm creating a web of myths that I need to explore. Now, this morning, I had just before this, I had a Zoom call with the deck creator, with Carmen in Italy. And I was asking her about the astrological layers that have been um, built into this deck, which is they are most unusual. They don't follow any astrological associations that I've ever worked with, and I've spent a lot of time with the Wildwood Tarot and learning its Wheel of the Year associations, and really kind of work with that deck in the way that it was designed. So the sixes become the solstices and the equinoxes. I know that each of the seasons is led off by the king. No, yes. by the kings. So it goes king, and that might not even be the name of the deck. King, queen, knight, and page. And so they are presented in that order, and yet they have, which is the same as House Tarot, but they have the energy is not similar in any way whatsoever. So I need to work with the deck the way that it is presented. And so when I was working with that one, I created lots and lots of wheels. And I had wheels upon wheels upon wheels that some of them I actually cut out and put on top of each other and put those into my journal. And so with the Philarkos Tarot, there's different things that are coming up, and there's a new astrological concept that's coming forth. And in the energy of the twos, the sixes, and the tens, Carmen has built in chronological, uh, a chronological system with the cards. I need to fix the camera because this is kind of driving me nuts here. There we go. That's better. Um, oh, I have shared my journal, occasionally from time to time, but yes, I could definitely do that. And I find that I allow the process of the journaling to unfold. And what happened today in my conversation with Carmen was that I began to realize what she was doing rather than building in an astrological layer was, and I want to share with you her words exactly. She said um, that the astrology is more tied to the evolution of time than specific astrology. It is about evolution of consciousness. And then as I was talking to her, I started to think about the way that she had designed it was more in alignment with the 12 astrological houses. And so what I'm about to do in my Philarkos notes is to see if I can bring alignment with that. Okay. Um, so for me, Joel, it's about web building. And I'm actually going to shuffle the Philarkos Tarot and answer that question in terms of a card. Okay. Hi, Karen. Welcome. And Tina's here, I see. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to go back to Joel's first question because this is what I'm going to pull a card on. How does your tarot journaling look like when you study a deck or a tarot system? And so my answer was, oh yeah. But what else can I share with you about tarot journaling that would help to deepen your insight into the way that I see and work with a deck? I'm just seeing all the charts. I've made so many charts on decks. So let's see what the tarot says. Mhm. This is hilarious. Queen of Wings, Queen of Swords. So quite analytical. Yes, I have the wise owl on my shoulder. I do make spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets, as well as create charts in my journal. And I'm thinking of the Herb Crafter deep dive that I did. So in the Herb Crafter deep dive, I made quite a few different charts, and that had to do with the that journal's not on my desk right now, but each of the minor suits has a tool. Each of the minor suits had a particular verb that was associated with it, and so I made all these little charts. So yeah, they're kind of a little bit left brain, a little bit left brain, because the way that I tend to dive into decks is very intuitive, so I let my left brain side come out. Okay. All right, let us go to, I see that Dee has a question, so let's go there. Has a tarot or oracle deck you enjoy using been ruined when you find something distasteful about the creator? Um, yes, yes. Um, that's a it's a really good question. It's kind of a loaded question, and the one that comes to mind, Dee, was one of the duck soup decks, and that had to do with a controversy over, Black racial stereotyping, and at the time of purchasing the deck, I was not aware of the issues that had arisen with Duck Soup Productions, and so and that was not the deck that I had purchased, um, and I so when I learned about this, I went to do some reading to see what if there was some justification or how they had responded to this concern, and I really felt that the responses were, um, rather than addressing the issue, were skirting around the issue, so I decided, I don't believe I have that deck anymore. I believe I gave it away or I passed it on or sold it or something. So yeah, so that kind of put me off from purchasing any more of their decks. And I don't know if there have been other ones. Um, I try to do my research in advance, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Uh, I don't know if distaste is the right word, but sometimes I will, um it'll be, not necessarily a FOMO thing, but I'll see everybody using a particular deck or really, really enjoys a particular deck, um, and I say, "No, no, it's not for me," and then I succumb to the masses and I purchase the deck, and it's usually, "Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't need this one." Um, but often it comes from, um, a lack of, a lack of experience with tarot in creating a deck. There seems to be a sense of entitlement for, "I can create a tarot deck and do it any way," and it doesn't need to be based on anything. To me, that's an oracle deck, not a tarot deck, so call it an oracle deck, not a tarot deck, but that's really kind of a different question. But let's draw a card about, um, distaste, because I think that's an interesting question. I'm thinking there's another one. There's another deck that I could talk about. Yeah, all right. Drawing a card, for Dee's question. Has a tarot or oracle deck I enjoyed been ruined when you find something distasteful about the creator? I could talk about Doreen Virtue as well too here, that's for sure. But just let me draw the card and then maybe I'll share a thing or two with you about that. Hmm. I'd do the Hermit. So a couple of things I wanna say about this card. One is that the truth, um, the wisdom, the knowledge in the deck, Not just the knowledge of the deck, but the truth will always come out, uh, if there's something that needs to be shared about the creator. But I'm feeling this is more me. This is me in taking my time and finding my way with decks. I know sometimes I have heard things about a deck and I have, put them to the side, but then in my private time, I try to give decks the benefit of the doubt or creators the benefit of the doubt and work with them, try to unpack them rather than, just feeding off my initial impression, and, yeah, so this is definitely my approach to that sort of a question. He says, "Due diligence doesn't always work, the information isn't always very easy to find." Yeah, um, and then Donna adds to that and says, "Due diligence can be tricky. I kept a deck I was going to sell after seeing an interview with the creator and really liking her energy. Conversely, I got rid of a deck for the opposite reason." Mhm. And you all know that my journey with the Hush Tarot was a kind of a love-hate kind of experience, and I haven't read with it since then, but I really like what I learned in working with it. So, yeah, okay. Um, I don't see other inquiries, so please go ahead, and, I'm gonna answer some of the questions that are down below. Um, alright, this is question number 5, and I will put that into the chat. And oh, isn't that funny? This is not the question I meant to copy. But this is not the one I meant to, it's okay, I'll copy the one above it as well too, but I will answer this question because these things are never an accident. Okay. What is my least favorite part of the tarot community? Um, oh gosh, this is so hard to talk about. Um, I am I was critical. I was critical of somebody's work, in the tarot community. There was something that felt unfinished and kind of unprofessional, and I gave a bad review. And I know there have been other tarot tubers who have given less than stellar reviews, um, to decks, products, things like that, and then what's happened is there's been a backlash to that, so it's like you don't have permission in some people's eyes to give a negative review, and then what happens is you get a lot of hate mail and an incredible amount of, disturbing comments and things like that. And it's very, very hard to manage. So it's almost as if, unless it is unless, don't say anything unless you have something nice to say. So I feel like sometimes it's just not okay to give a negative review. And that's been really difficult, really, really difficult. So I want to say that's one of my least favorite things. Yes, and Sharon says, "I avoid posting negative videos on decks in order to avoid the backlash." Mm. So that's definitely one. You're welcome, Dee. All right. And this one, let's answer. I'll go back and just check and see if you have posted any questions. Um, my favorite part of the community. So this is so this morning I went to Italy and I was in Carmen Sorrenti's kitchen and we had a chat about her deck. And I would have never found the Full Arcos Tarot if it wasn't for TarotTube. I would have never met somebody like Wasima Ascension Waves Tarot, I believe. And it's in meeting Wasima that I was introduced to the Full Arcos, and I found the Full Arcos Tarot. I believe that's the way that I found it. And then I got to have a little chat, I mean, years later, because I've had the deck for a while, with Carmen this morning going into this deep dive. So one of my favorite things are these connections that I've made and these personal connections also with some of you. I have had some of you as clients, and then through our connections, we've become friends, and it's just amazing. So the people in general have been wonderful, and that's one of my favorite things about the tarot community. Yeah. Okay. Um, oh, I didn't pull a card on that. I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to pull a card for my favorite thing about the tarot community. I've got the same deck in hand. And the tarot knew exactly where it wanted to cut. Princess of Cups. I think the tarot community allows my, I don't know if I can find words for this. I feel like my my gift that I knew I had as a child, as a little girl, has really been able to grow through the support and, yeah, the support of the tarot community, that this work that I've been doing and really devoted to over the last 5, 6 years has been a part of my life for a long time, but thanks to the tarot community, it's really been able to flourish, the YouTube community especially, so that's been amazing. Okay. Okay. I saw that comment, so I just wanted to let you know that. D says, "I wait ages before purchasing a deck, and sometimes after waiting, I realize I don't want the cards." I think this is really good advice, D, and sometimes I feel the pressure because, multiple people ask for reviews. They want a review. "What do you think about it? What do you think about it?" And, that happened. I'm thinking of the Blood Moon Tarot. I should have never purchased it. I just knew it wasn't a deck for me. And, you can never recover the money that you spend on a deck. It's just too expensive, with the shipping and all of the extra charges and so forth. So it's really, really good advice to make sure that the decks are a good match for you. Yes. And welcome to Tarot Geek. And I see Dee Dee is here as well too. Welcome to Dee Dee. Snowy day in Montreal. I didn't know you're in Montreal. Thank you for sharing that. All right, scrolling on down. Thanks, Karen. I appreciate that. I took that the right way. Thank you. And welcome to Donna. Hello, Donna. And Donna knows firsthand because Donna was part of a class that I had. And this also, teaching classes on Zoom means that the students as well see others from tarot chats, sometimes face to face, and have an opportunity to connect. So that's been really beautiful. Yeah. Colleen makes a good point as well too. I have learned so much about the world through TarotTube. We learn a lot about different places in the world, issues that are arising, different people's experiences with situations we hear in the news, and then we hear about how it feels personally, if you're not in that particular part of the world. Okay. Kathy Finn, hello. Hello from sunny Jamaica. Thank you for joining us here today. All right, let's go to Joel. This question gets harder and harder to answer the longer I work with tarot, and my how I would have answered this question 5 years ago, to how I would answer this question now is is quite different. And I'm actually gonna pull 3 cards, um, to answer this question after I have a sip of water. So, first of all, for a beginner, I would say purchase a deck from do a little bit of research, and I don't think you have to I don't think you have to have a Thoth deck or Pamela Collins-Smith's genuine artwork. But if you're working with a clone or a look-alike deck, just make sure that the artist or the deck creator, um, is somebody that's known. I would say that, and as we were kind of talking about this earlier, I think it's important to do a little bit of background work on um, the history of the deck. I would definitely not work with a curated deck, and I would want to know that the deck creator reads tarot and has read tarot for some time. Um, there's certain decks I would not recommend. Like, for example, that there's a really pretty woodland deck that I purchased and then sold. Um, a Forest of Enchantment or something. Like, I would not recommend something like that, even though it's sort of a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. I think it needs to be, and it's interesting because that totally contradicts everything, because both the artist and the book creator for that deck are well known. I would say that for a beginner to choose something that is quite close to, um, the system, one of the systems, right? Or choose, a Thoth or a Waite-Smith copy. Okay. For a seasoned reader, I would and it's interesting that you're, I'm not sure what the difference is between a seasoned reader and an advanced reader, long experience. So for a seasoned reader, I would definitely, dive more into the astrology or the Kabbalah and another layer, and so to choose a deck that is definitely built on, or a deck that's going to help you to understand the astrological associations. And for an advanced reader, I would say to um, go crazy, and you're going to want to work with things like the Tildewick Tarot and all kinds of metaphor that you have always wanted to build into a deck. Choose a really difficult to read deck. Um, Something that you never would have purchased as a beginning reader. So for example, and if money is no object, that's also another issue. For an advanced reader, I would also say to dive into a deck that makes you immensely uncomfortable. And that's what I did with the Hush Tarot. And I think that is a great, great exercise. Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards for this question: beginner, seasoned, and advanced. This is the CS Tarot, the Conrad Stein Tarot. Beginner. Wow, interesting. Okay, so this is kind of fun. Beginner is judgment. Seasoned is page, and advanced is King of Cups. Well, I think what I said really fits in with the King of Cups for a seasoned reader, in that the emotional component of working with a deck that makes you feel really uncomfortable, can be really, really stretch you, and I think that fits really, really well. Page of Swords is a kind of energy that asks a lot of questions. That's the little kid, the child that goes, "Why? Why?" And so I think that also kind of fits into what I'm saying, like learn a system, go back to school kind of energy. So that really works here. Now, why has Judgment shown up as a beginner deck? Now that's really, really cool. Um, what deck would you choose for a beginner? And the Judgment card comes up here. Hmm. So I'm seeing, um, the number 20. I'm seeing this whole idea of balance in tarot. But perhaps this card is showing up because it is so rich in symbology. And I feel that a beginning reader needs to get comfortable with some of the tarot traditions. It helps when we have a foundation to grow on as a reader. So there may be something there, because I'm looking at the angel, I'm looking at the Red Cross, I'm looking at the Christian symbology, perhaps the color symbology. And Dee Dee, that's not a bad point either. Something that calls to you. I've always said that it's important to be um, comfortable with the deck. You don't ever want to be working with a deck that the artwork kind of creeps you out. So that's a really good point as well too. Yeah. Mm. Okay. All right, Joel. So that's the best that I can do with your question for now. Mm. I could do a video maybe on a few decks that you don't own, just giving your opinion from everything that you've seen. Yeah. Um, I think that's a good idea. Decks that I don't own. I just wrote that down. Mm. Are most people in this chat professional readers? I just read for fun, my friend. Such a connected group here. Yeah, Erica, I hope you've had some responses to that. Mm, mm. Okay. All right. Where are we at? I think a deck like that is a good choice. Yes. Yes, because there are, um, I feel in that deck there's a lot of architectural history. There is layers of mythology. So yes, definitely a great deck for seasoned readers. Mm, okay. Dee Dee, are there any tarot cards whose meanings have changed immensely for you over the years? Gone on journeys of meanings. Yes, Dee Dee, of course. Of course there are. Um, and I have to say that I am always open to looking at new perspectives with cards. I mean, I'm not sure. So in this, I'm just looking at this card right here, which is one that I was talking about recently in the Thoth Inspired series. So I'm going to put it on the table. It's too hard to hold it up and do this. Um, so this is just an example. I don't think I was interested in the, can I say, the geometry uh, so much as I am now. Um, so there's things that I never noticed before. Like I never really picked up on the black space in cards. There's something about, and this has to do with probably working more and more with the Marielle Tarot and the concept of blackness and the abyss and the darkness and shadow. Like this card, I never saw that before. But what I was gonna say is, one of the things with this card is I'm looking at this upward facing triangle here and this downward facing triangle. And the the fact that this figure is up on the bench and has elevated themselves is above. So we have this idea of a one above and two below, which feels a bit like the devil. It feels like a bit like the Hierophant, the fact that we're in a church. Um, this is really something. And I have read or heard people talk about Cats and Goodwin's Secrets of the Whitesmith Tarot. It is, but also, there's something, Donna, that I think when I when I'm ready to explore these things, they really do come to light. And I have to tell you, Dee Dee, that I wasn't entirely, I couldn't entirely earlier on in my journey wrap my head around the fact that weight actually hid or intentionally confounded some of the information from the book T in his deck. And so he intentionally did things backwards, or he mixed things up because he was, staying true to the sacred vow that he took, being initiated into the Order of the Golden Dawn. I couldn't really wrap my head around that. But as I began to grow with the tarot, I find it more and more fascinating, the things that I find and I see. And the other thing too, Donna, is that with with all the more work, the more study that I do with the tarot, the more I believe that the tarot came out of the East, and anything that's come out of the East is gonna have Eastern philosophy built into it. And if you read some of the older esoteric tarot books, whether you're reading something from Atea or, I don't know, something that's significant, even if you're reading some of Crowley's work or, Waite's, have I read any of Waite's work? There are some other, um, I'm thinking of Tarot of the Holy Light. There's a lot of references in that book that are really, really interesting. What I'm saying here is that I created this course called Tarot Through the Chakras, and early on in my tarot journey, I was reading with the Osho Zen Tarot. It was a deck that felt very comfortable for me to read with. Loved the colors, really, really didn't like the suited clouds and some of the cards, but I felt that my aversion to those cards was, and I know this is really hard for some people, but you really, really don't like a card, so it's about getting to know that card and seeing yourself in that card and why that card is so repulsive to you. Why does that card hurt so much? It's got a lot to teach you. And so I purchased the second book for the Osho Zen and tried to dive deeper into it. So what I'm saying here is that I am giving myself permission to allow more Eastern philosophical teachings to come through the tarot. And I absolutely love it when I'm looking at or reading an older book and I hear references to wheel, dharma, samskaras, chakras. It's like, yes, it's there. And all of you old esoteric magician sages just never bothered to mention it, or write about it at any length. And so in this is a long-winded answer to your question, Dee Dee, but in the temperance card in this particular deck here, I've this path that's here, and this path that leads to the crown. There's that like the sun, there's also a crown here, and enlightenment. This just makes so much sense if we're thinking about temperance and the idea of alchemy and balance and healing and tempering leading to enlightenment. Crown being crown chakra, crown being Keter, top of the Kabbalistic tree of life. And while there are a bunch of things that I now disagree with in Isabel Rado Kliegman's book, that was one that really got me thinking, about the different layers of the Kabbalah and the chakras and the cards, and so yeah, and often I don't, well, that's not true. So yes. Yes, 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 yes. Lots and lots of journeys with meanings. Mm, sorry, very long-winded answer. Mm, mm. Do you have any tips or tarot exercise activities for when you're in a tarot funk? When I'm in a tarot funk, um, I would say that I did like 3, 4 videos on tarot affirmations. I don't know if you saw those videos. So that's one idea, and I will give you an example. To- And this is a really beautiful way to work with a deck. I was thinking about doing this, doing some shorts. I know I've been talking about this. YouTube shorts. This is what I was thinking about doing for YouTube shorts. I don't know if you think it's a good idea. So a card a day, cutting and valet de bâton. Valet de bâton. This is my card. Hmm. Today, I will give myself permission to go off the path, to climb over the rocks and up the tree and get my toes into the mud. Um, I give myself permission to play and to let go and to have fun. I really like the practice of tarot affirmations. I think it's a way to turn a card into an action for today or an attitude for today, rather than trying to analyze a message. So that's one idea, um, that I think is absolutely brilliant. Okay. Mm-mm. Loved your deep dive into the Hush Tarot. It really changed how I use it. Um, Sorry, I just lost the message, Dina. I'm trying to read it here. There we go. Okay. I went back and read what he wrote for his art exhibitions, and I found the links through Instagram. Yeah, I think, sometimes we have to work a little harder to connect with a deck, and what I was saying about, seasoned readers, like, there's an effort that is required. Some decks are actually a lot of work to dive into, so thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Mm, thank you. Alright, and Andrew, hello, hello. Um, where are we at? I kinda lost, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Uh, I like the CS. All right, here we go. I have never seen reversals. Do you ever do so in the reading? Um, Good question, Erica. Thank you for asking this. And I am going to shuffle a card to support answering this question as well, too. So first of all, I believe that there are and there are so many layers to every single card. We can dive into messages from the colors, the symbols. There's messages of energy that comes through the elements. There's numerological correspondences, astrological, Kabbalistic correspondences, chakra correspondences. So every card has far more information than you would ever talk about in a single reading. And some of those shine towards light and some more towards shadow. I firmly believe that there is so much information in a card, one would never have to um, read it upside down. However, when a card appears upside down in a deck, I don't ignore it. In a spread in a reading, I don't ignore it. I feel as if a reversal is there's a couple of things. One, it wants to be paid attention to. There is a challenge with this card. And I read a reversal much like sometimes I do a reading and then I'll look at the card that's on the bottom of the deck and I'll know that there's a struggle with this card. There's a challenge here. There's a bit of a um, maybe an avoidance with this particular card. And I read reversals in that same way. I will sometimes I will make a note that it's upside down and then I will turn it the right way up um, and go ahead with the reading. But I know that that card needs extra special attention. Okay. Erica, I'm going to pull a card in response to this question from the Wildwood Tarot. Um, any more information on reversals? Eight of Vessels. Let it flow. Um, yeah, let it flow. And what I mean by that is I don't really get hung up on cards that whether cards are up or down. I find it frustrating if you do a reading and like seven cards are upside down and one card is right way up. It's just like I can't wrap my head around that. So I do make an effort to put all my cards right way up when I'm shuffling, but sometimes I miss shuffle and I get a whole bunch that are upside down. And I know that's not an accident. I believe that's the way it's supposed to be. So I do pay attention. Um, yeah, I hope that answers your question. All right. Do you think there is ever a time when one should not use tarot, such as in a certain psychological state? Okay. Yes. So if you are panicking, like you're quite literally freaking out about something, um, yeah, I would not draw a card at that time. Um, if I am just or I'm livid. I am so angry, so upset. I wouldn't. So if the emotions are really extreme one way or the other, I wouldn't go to the tarot. And I know this an obvious question here has to do with death. Um, And that can be really, really tricky, and I've done readings, about death before for myself and for others, um, but I've been in a very calm and peaceful state, and I have set myself up to do the reading in a supportive way. So I think my best answer here has to do with, yeah, being in an emotional, not a healthy place. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, so let's go. Donna has requested that I do question 7 and 9. So question number 7 is, who inspires me most on YouTube? Okay. Who inspires me most on YouTube? Wow. Um, and I don't know if you're talking about tarot tubers or YouTube in general. Um, YouTube in general, there's there's a few different channels. I mean, I will sit and watch Eckhart Tolle anytime. I love it when his stuff pops up into my feed. I really need to dive into that and keep going back to those kinds of conversations. There are a few, uh, spiritual leaders out there, and I love talking to them and, uh, and listening to them. Uh, you meant TarotTube, okay. So TarotTube, um, you know, honestly, I'm so busy on TarotTube that, myself, I don't watch a lot of people. But I have to say, I really love the enthusiasm of some of the younger tarot tubers. I I love uh, their freeness, and somebody that comes to mind is, Thea, Garden Goddess Tarot. I love her her lightness, and that's what sometimes that's what I need. I need that lightness of being. I, I mean, there's some great tarot readers out there and tarot tubers out there, and I've always, I mean, I love it when Kasha's stuff pops into my feed. I watch her things from time to time. Um, there's a few that I'm not really a fan of, and I've I might still be subscribed to their channels, but I don't watch their stuff anymore. And I did a chat with Anna. I really like Anna, Astral Lady Tarot. I like her realness. So I have to say that there's some younger ones that have really, um, it's helped me a lot to get inspired and reconnected, and to also help me to understand what I have to offer that's different from a younger person's perspective. Yeah. Um, it's interesting. I should go through my sub like, if I go to my tarot feed right now, it'd be really interesting to see who pops up, and if there is any, um and it's funny, there's a few that are popping up here that really don't inspire me. So, okay, um, there's a couple. And question number 9, um, question number 9, I need to see what it is. Number 1, oh, this is a good question, Donna. Okay, so this is question 9. Number 1 advice for other creators and new people starting a channel. Now, this is personal. Um, I don't like videos where you only where people don't show their face. I can watch if you wanna do some videos that you only show your hands, that's fine, but not 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 letting us know who you are can be really challenging to me. Mixtress Ray. So Mixtress Ray, another amazing tarot tuber. I really like Mixtress Ray. I like her ballsiness. She's full of energy. And I know for a while there, she was not feeling well and did a lot of face down videos. And so I would say that if you're going to do start a channel, you need to have the courage to put your face on the camera. And it does. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Um, you need to get dressed, right? And there's a level of confidence that's required there. So you you need to be comfortable with yourself, right? Um, I don't oh, no, you're not asking for 10 things. Actually, no, Donna, this is a really good video that I could speak to, and I could, um, put more thought into it and do, 10 top 10 pieces of advice for people wanting to create a tarot channel. Yeah, okay. It does, Sharon, right? It takes a lot of confidence, um, all these steps. Now, the whole hands thing, um, I you've seen me sometimes. Sometimes I wear nail polish, not so much. And I was actually this is funny, I was actually quite intimidated because I thought that when you do a tarot channel, you need to have beautifully manicured hands, right? You need to show your fingernails. It just seems like that was a thing, you need to kind of be creative with all of that. So, please don't worry about that. You don't have to have great fingernails to have a tarot tube channel. Yeah. Okay, I will definitely do I'm gonna add this one to the list of, tarot tube tips, and specifically not just for YouTubers, but for tarot tubers, about showing cards and multiple cameras, and, is it okay to do this, right? How do you learn how to do this as opposed to, is it better, to have 2 cameras going and to show cards on another camera? I mean, there's lots of things that I think are, yeah. Anyway, um, yes, I will definitely do a longer video on this. All right, let's go down. Where are we at here? Mm-mm. All right, so Joel is asking for question 11. It's funny, Joel, when I read this question, I don't think there is. Question 11 says, "What is a deck divination tool you use alone but don't show or use online?" Uh, I'll just post the question and then I'll reply to it. I think I have shown this. I have a deck that is, I just need to go back there. I have a deck that is um, very esoteric yoga. So it has the, it's called, what's it called? Yoni's in the title of the deck. It's all about feminine energy and it's a Shakti based deck. And it's full of got the mandalas for each of the aspects of the goddess, and it deals with the rising of Kundalini, but mostly I want to say in the journey of enlightenment through chakra psychology, we go through the journey of the Kundalini rising, but also the integration of the Kundalini descending. And so this deck really works with the descent and the integration of Shakti energy. And because it's such a esoteric topic, I would never, I mean, I think I have shown it on my channel, but I would never read with it or use it. So it would have to be something like that. And I'm sure there's a couple others that are um, kind of out there. Mm, okay. Okay, good. I'm glad that you would also like that. Donna says, I miss the young woman who used to have a tarot channel. I can't remember her name, but she took the Doreen Virtue route and quit and took all of her content down. Okay, I'm not sure who that is, but I was going to talk about the question of that Dee asked. So um, earlier on in my journey, I went to quite a few Doreen Virtue workshops when she came to Vancouver, and I almost went to Hawaii to become a Doreen Virtue certified angel therapist. Um, Something happened. I didn't go, but I spent a lot of time listening to her, and at that time, she was married to Stephen Farmer. And oh my goodness, I really enjoyed listening to Stephen Farmer. He was amazing. And I didn't feel, and I met some great people at those workshops. I was really, really disappointed with some of at the lashing out and the switch of energy and the disowning of her past, because I really felt that sh if she was who she said she was back then, that she would have been able to embrace those earlier years as part of her journey, not completely reject them. So that was really hard, for me, and because there's a couple of her decks that I absolutely love, and I will never like I have the book as well as the deck, the fairy one, I mean, that is just such an enchanting story. Um, it's not great artwork, but the story, the book is just beautiful, and the Ascended Masters deck is really powerful as well too, so it makes me sad when people disown their past rather than reconciling it. Okay. Mm. Mm. Donna. Mm. Okay, where am I at? Okay, here's another controversial question. I have some tarot decks which are oversized, painful, or impossible to shuffle, and uncomfortable, annoying cards. Or I'd love to have a travel size version of, and I'm considering scanning them and reprinting them through MPC for personal use. But I worry it's unethical, even though I've already paid the artist creator. Any thoughts or opinions from anyone? Um, this leads into a whole bunch of questions, Dee Dee. For for your personal use, I don't see anything wrong with that. I I uploaded a couple of things to Lulu. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Lulu, and they wouldn't print it for me. So you can't assume that if you uploaded it, you would have to lie and say that it's your work. And I think it depends on the printer. So just be mindful with that. And I would also, if you have a channel, don't use it on your channel. It would strictly be for your own use. And I would also, approach the creator and make a comment to the creator, that you were doing this, and I I don't know, I would have a conversation with the creator for sure. Mm, mm, okay. Hi, Beth. I don't know if I said hello to you. Alright. Yeah, so just some of your comments on Doreen Virtue. So I wanna share with you, and I don't know if it was Anatolian or, um, it was somebody that whose name you would know, and we were having a discussion about you know who it was? It was Karen from the studios, and we were talking about counterfeit decks and the purchase of counterfeit decks, and this is a whole other can of worms and issues, but first of all, if I purchased a counterfeit deck by accident, I would burn it or throw it in the garbage. I would not even return it to I would not return it to Amazon for a refund, but I would let Amazon know for sure. Um, I went into a metaphysical store when I was traveling one time, and they had a shelf that was all counterfeit decks, and you could tell because of the price, and if you turn it over, if you have the original, it's different packaging, and I s and I said to the owner, and I pointed this out, and the person who was there said, "Oh, that's my wife that orders decks. I don't know anything about this." So I was kind of dismissed. So I will if I see counterfeit decks in a shop, I will always say something to the owner because people have no business selling these. It's just terrible. Um, so yeah, so I would and I'm very, very careful when I go on to even like Amazon or eBay to scroll down and make sure that I'm purchasing on an authentic deck. Um, Sometimes it's a bit of work, but I try to be careful with that. Um, okay. All right. So is there anything else you would like me to answer? We're at about an hour and a half. I mean, I think I've kind of addressed most of them. I'm going to just pull a card to close our time together today. And it's funny, the deck that I'm picking up, I have very mixed feelings about this deck. And I'm okay with not having this deck out all the time. Did you talk about the new I didn't even know what that I don't even know what that means. I must be really out of it. I'm sorry, I feel really stupid. I don't even know what that means. If you wanna explain, maybe I will understand. Oh, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. I didn't know that was you. Decks made by computers. What does that even mean? Aren't all decks made on computers? I mean, every deck, the artwork is scanned, and then the deck is sometimes things added or changed on the computer. Artificial intelligence art. I'm sorry. I have no comment. I need to look this up, and I will respond to it at another time. Wow. I don't know what to say. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting my channel. Thank you all for always supporting one another in the chat. And I love it. I love it when I come back and there's comments below, and some of you've had a great old conversation below in the comments. Um, I love that as well too. Okay. Uh, and Donna, this one hurts my fingers, and I have mixed feelings about this deck. But this, I think it's a for our conversation today. This is a really good deck to be pulling from, like as a final message to leave with. And we get this fella. This is the 7 of Cups from the Bone Tarot. One thing I like about this card is his beckoning. I love the way that he is kind of calling us, inviting us into the mystery, inviting us into the madness, inviting us to self emotions, kind of like do what you need to do to get where you need to get, because this is amazing, amazing work. I actually have been into a few apothecaries, um, where I've felt a little sketchy, and this is brave work, people. This is brave work, and I want to say yes. It's so worth the energy and the effort, and whatever winding path tarot takes you down, to enjoy it. Yeah. Mm. All right. Thank you for clarifying this more. I will definitely look into this. Yeah, that's a channel I can take or leave. It's really, that's really a shame. You know, Katie, I don't think it's possible. I really oh, wow. We got a deal. AI nurses. Despite all its drama, I still long to own it. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all. It is a little creepy. It is a little creepy. Good night, Saskia. Good night to you. Good night to Tina, and those of you that are it's late, late, late. I really appreciate you being here. Actually, I really appreciate all of you being here, whether you're on the West Coast or not. Okay. I'm actually not that cut and dried in terms of compensation. Okay. That's hilarious question, Dee Dee. My dog has never eaten a tarot card, but I have lost a tarot card, down the cracks of the deck. Um, Not the card deck, but like, the boards on the deck on the patio. Yeah, the dog has never eaten one, luckily for me. All right, lovely chatting with you. Have a nice weekend. Namaste.